fishing because um, other than firearms and shooting, he really likes fishing just like me. But if you guys don't know who American Defender is, this is Jimmy from the American Defender channel.
What's going
And
on, everybody?
yeah, I hope you guys can hear him okay. He's on the phone here. Um, but Jim lives in Arizona, and so he likes to do a different kind of fishing than I do, but I like all kinds of fishing. So let's start out with how your day's going, what you've been up to on American Defender, and then we'll jump right into the fishing chat here.
Alrighty. Well, my day's been just kind of, going.
Yeah.
Usual average day. As far as American Defender channel goes, I've got one video still got to post. The last video, by the way, Happy New Year's, everybody. That's about it. I've got a bomb that I'm about to drop on my channel.
Oh no. Yeah.
You and I have talked about the algorithmic suppression that my channel is experiencing over the last year, and I've been trying to defeat that. And so, yeah. Other than that, yeah, I'm sitting here. Got some Safariland Comp 1 speed loaders that I'm going to talk about for the 44 Magnum. But
awesome.
We're here to talk fishing, dude. We're here to rip lips.
Hi, Hayden. How are you? Hey, Junkyard. Yeah, ready to rip lips, dude. I'm so ready for spring. It's been in the 20-degree mark here lately, so I haven't been out fishing, but I've been getting all my tackle stuff ready. But I like to bass fish, but I really like to just cast the lure in the water and see what bites. You're more of a cat fisherman. So let's talk about your love for catfishing and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I like catfish, especially flathead catfishing. That's my fish of choice.
Mm-hmm.
That's the tug that is the drug. Is flathead catfishing. Largemouth bass or bait. I'm just kidding.
Right. It is what it is, my friend.
It's catfish humor.
Right.
But excuse me. Yeah, I like catfishing. It's a more relaxed type of fishing.
Yeah. There we go.
Stick a bluegill on a hook and wing it out and
oh my gosh.
This underwater and kick back, and then when old Mr. Whiskers comes up and runs, you got a fight on your hand.
Yeah. Can you guys hear him okay? Because I've been trying to make this thing louder over here.
Yeah, if I need to hold the phone up to my ear, I will. I got you on speakerphone right now.
Yeah. So yeah, sorry. I was trying to pull my fiance's phone out of the case. So you were talking about about catfishing and how bass is the bait and everything, and you were joking with me. So
yeah, I was just joking around with you. It's an ongoing rift in between largemouth fishers and flathead fishers. Because it's just an ongoing thing. It's just a joke between the two of them. Some guys out there that are into flathead fishing are dead serious with it. I'm not.
So
because I fish for largemouth too.
Right. American Defender is in Arizona, and I'm in Indiana. So two different styles of fishing, two different parts of the United States, all that kind of stuff. But when you go, because I've caught catfish by accident, right? I'm not really a cat fisherman per se, but what are your go-to rigs, go-to baits as far as catfishing? Do you prefer like live bait or the king cat stuff you can buy at Walmart? You want to go through all that?
Sure, we can talk about that. First off, the dough baits from Walmart, forget them. They're a waste of money. Don't use them.
Okay.
I have never had luck at all whatsoever on king cat or that great Scott or whatever. None of that stuff works. None of it. The only bait that I've ever gotten that was in a plastic tub that actually works was what was the name of that stuff, Jen? Striker? Was it? Is it Strike? I think it's called Striker. It's a punch bait. It works. At least it did until they reformulated it And then something happened to where it's weird now, and it doesn't like to stay on the hook like it used to. The binder that they put into the bait, they changed it. But that stuff worked really well, mostly for channel cat. So fishing for channel cat and fishing for flathead are two different things. Channel cat are scavengers, so they'll eat about anything. Doesn't matter if it's alive, dead, rotten, they'll eat whatever. Flathead they're kind of like bass, because flathead typically only eat live stuff. They are the apex predator in the water, especially here in Arizona. So everything else is below them. They eat everything else. So, like if I was going to fish for flathead, I target differently. I bait differently. I only use live bait, and I try to rig differently. So, like if I was rigging for channel cat, I would do kind of like a Carolina rig. That's how I would go about doing it. Where, typically like if one of the baits I use for channel cat is hot dog. Okay. I love hot dog. Hot dog, I've caught every single breed or species of fish in Arizona. Anything will eat a hot dog. Trout, bass, catfish. I've caught walleye on hot dog. I've caught all sorts of crap on a hot dog. I've caught every species of fish we have here in Arizona on an old Oscar Mayer wiener. But if I was rigging for channel cat, I would tie the hook on, and sometimes I don't even use a weight. Most of the time, though, if I do use a weight, it's not very much. It might be half ounce or so. But I've found, like with channel cat here in Arizona, especially in the canals that I fish in, because I'm big into fishing the Salt River Project canals, and I run a group here in Arizona called Arizona Canal Busters, and the East Valley Canal Fishers. That you don't really need a lot of weight in those canals, because how do I put this? The water's always moving. There's always a lot of undertow. So you could put a 2-ounce weight on there and it not do a dadgum thing, because it's just going to keep lifting it up off the bottom. So what I've learned is just throw a hot dog on a hook, and I've got videos up on this and how to bait the hot dog without it coming off. Throw it out in the water and just let it do what it's going to do, and let it bounce around in there. And it actually adds an action to the hot dog, which will attract the flatheads, but it'll also attract the channel cat and also the carp and the bass and the bluegill and everything else that's in there. So that's kind of how I do that. It's different methodologies, putting action into a bait that really shouldn't have action. Flathead is different. Flathead, I use a bunch of different rigs, and it depends upon the conditions. Flathead, I might use a float, like a slip float, like a slip rig. Mm-hmm. I might do something like that, and I usually use pretty big hooks, at least in between. I can go anywhere between a size 6 and size 9 circle hook, anywhere, and sometimes even bigger. It's almost like fishing for shark. As a matter of fact, some of my flathead combos are saltwater rigs, because you have to have that for them. Because when a flathead hits, it wants to dive. It just wants to go back into its hole, and it'll do what it has to do to get down in there. So your rig has to be able to fight, that fish, of course, but you're going to kind of horse him up a little bit. You're going to have to bring him up and keep him out of that hole. So your line has to be extra heavy. It has to be abrasion resistant. Your rod has to be able to withstand you, putting a lot of torque on it. So it's just a real heavy duty fishing. But once you get them up off of the bottom, I've learned with flathead, eventually they kind of calm down. But the rigging on them will be like, so if I was going to tie a rig, I would have usually my weight at the bottom, And then my hook comes up about 18 inches. And then up about, whatever the depth is that I need to fish at, I'll have a bobber stop in my bobber. And then the bait that I would use for a flathead would be vastly different. I use bluegill, but a flathead catfish's absolute favorite bait is about a 1 pound carp. And you hook it right behind the dorsal fin. You drop it down in there, and you just sit back and you watch for that little float. And remember, most of this is nighttime fishing too.
Okay. All right.
So, but you watch for that little float to start dancing. And when you see that float start dancing, it's about to be go time. And so you start, paying attention to your rod, and then you hear that click, 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 and then it's on. It's on like Donkey Kong, brother.
So one of the viewers said that Junkyard Gardener said live bait, cut bait, and dead shrimp works the best for them in Texas. So
yeah. See, it's funny. It's funny with flathead, and I guess bass too. Depending where you're at, different baits work, because it's just like bass, how they tell you to match the hatch.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
It's just like that. So you want to present bait in front of them that they normally would see. And here in Arizona, see, this is one thing about Arizona. I bet a lot of people don't know about Arizona. And I'm trying to remember who it was. I think it was Fish and Wildlife that went around and rated all the different states for fishing. Arizona is the worst state for fishing. We are the hardest state to fish in because we have like 200 and something lakes or something like that here in the state, but they're all man-made lakes, so it's really hard to fish here. So your bait enticement, that match in the hatch, as they say, you've really got to pay attention to that. Whatever it is they're eating in the wild, that's what you want to present to them. Whereas in Texas, for instance, they've got a much wider variety of things to eat, and they could see shrimp. When my brother was in the military, when he was in the U.S. Navy back in the 90s, he was stationed in Texas for a very short time before they deployed him out to the Gulf of Oman during the Operation Desert Storm. And that was where he picked up on shrimp. Well, when he came back to Arizona, he tried to use shrimp again. Shrimp doesn't work in Arizona.
It doesn't work in Indiana either, and I know that because I got a fishing lure kit on Amazon once, and I had shrimp, and I just tried it, and because it's not a food source around here.
Yeah. That's exactly.
And not to cut you off, but I'm going to jump in here and I'm going to ask bass fishing related questions or even catfish related questions, because different bodies of water, like they hold different types of bait. Like if I'm going to use a certain bass lure here in Indiana, it may not work in Arizona because your like forage for the fish to eat and things like that, or the type of structure and all that kind of stuff, or even water temperature. You can fish in Arizona a lot longer throughout the year than I can in Indiana. Meaning water temperature, how the fish, even the spawn will be different for largemouth bass. Ours typically happens in March, April, May. You guys could probably happen in February, March, and April, and maybe May, because the waters are warmer and it doesn't get as cold down there.
We get our starts. See, our bass spawn. Now you got me thinking largemouth bass. Our bass spawn starts late February.
Right.
And then it goes into March, but we have a second spawn.
Okay.
That starts to happen, and that happens around August. And so you might get a second spawn, and be able to get on the beds and take them out during that point in time. But yeah, that's kind of why we were talking about earlier on in the year. We had that idea. I came to you with that idea of the tackle train.
Mm-hmm.
and starting that box where we could rotate it around the country, just everybody, whoever wanted to be part of the tackle train, just pay for the shipping. But it'd be a big box of lures and baits and things like that we could try in different states and just see how they work, because maybe there'd be something that you got on the East Coast that works really well there, and you want to see how it works in Arizona, let's say, and it's not available in Arizona. So you send the bait in the box. Say if the box came to me, I pull that bait out. I put 3 more baits back in to compensate for it. I send the box off to the next person. Then I use that bait, and I can, see, will this thing work here or not? If it works, great. And, and then I could make a video about it and then put it back in the box and send it on down the road. I thought that would have been a good idea, but it just never took off.
So the blue cats, the channel cats, the other one.
Mm-hmm.
Do they all spawn at the same time? Because I know bass spawn normally happens, March, April, May, let's say. But then the catfish spawn is later in the year, right?
Catfish flathead here in Arizona, because all I know is Arizona flathead.
Right.
Arizona flathead right now are in spawn.
Oh, okay. Well, what's the normal temperature? Like right now it's super cold where I am. But where you're at, what's the normal temperature range this time of year, though, too?
Well, it's 60 degrees right now.
Okay.
Today it's 60 degrees. It's overcast and rainy.
Gotcha.
During the day, normally right now, it could be anywhere from 55 degrees to 75 degrees. It could be anywhere in between there. Throughout, parts of December, January, February. When the end of February, beginning of March shows up, it'll typically be about 65, 75 degrees. We don't get real cold here. Not during the day. During the night, it can go freezing, It'll get 32, 33 degrees.
Right. So how does that play? So, like, the winter months when it's 60 degrees, does the catfish, are they more lethargic? Do you have to like fish slower versus just like any other fish when it's warmer out, they tend to bite better, like things like that, or overcast, things like that?
Well, when it's colder out, all fish, when it's colder out are more sluggish.
Mm-hmm.
So as far as catfish goes, like flathead, specifically when it gets colder, I reduce my bait size.
Okay.
During the winter, the summer when they're voracious, that's when the 1 pound carp and 2 pound carp starts coming out. All right. But now I might, if I was to go fish, say out at Bartlett Lake, because that's my hot spot for flatheads. I would probably hook up a small bluegill. And I might, even during the winter, to entice it a little bit, I might trim the tail fin on it, or do what they call blade the fish, which is you put some cuts down the side of the fish so it bleeds.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like it's basically shark fishing. It's the same tactic, and you put it down in a hole where the fish is, or the alleged flathead is, and you let it do its thing. And so you're presenting a smaller meal that is also wounded, and you're putting all these enticements out in front of the fish's face. And that way they have more of a reason to come out and try to eat that fish. But they do get lethargic during this time of year. They do. And it does slow the fishing down a little bit. But the funny thing is, a lot of the trophy flathead catfish that are caught here in Arizona are caught during this time of year.
Is it because they're spawning right now and they're garden catfish?
I don't know. I don't know what it is. I think it might be just because they're getting ready to brumate, because they'll do a little spawn during winter. It's not the main spawn. It's just a little short spawn that they do. And then when it starts to warm back up about the time bass are starting to spawn. The catfish are starting to spawn at the same time. But I think it might be they're just trying to run out and forage for food and bulk up, because they'll spawn really quick, they'll forage for food, and then they'll brumate, and they'll go dead for about 30 days.
So is brumate like meaning they'll hibernate in their holes?
Yeah, almost. Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
It's about the same thing, about like a hibernate, but it's not a true hibernation because they don't completely shut down. They're still there. They're just not real active. And that brumation period will start, well, it should be starting here in about a week or so.
So I got to give some shout outs. Ty, the boy, I helped him, like, I gave him a fishing pole and all that stuff, took him fishing with his dad. His dad, James, is a good friend of mine. He's on the live stream. He said, DG, it's me, Ty. So, hey, Ty, hope you're doing okay. Hope you and your dad are doing well. Well, hey, Hayden's back. Hey, buddy. I'm learning a lot about catfish. This was going to be a live stream about bass fishing and catfishing, which it kind of is, but I don't know a lot about catfishing. The only, like, 3 catfish or 4 catfish I've caught, 2 of them were on a, like, chartreuse grub worm, like an artificial bait.
Yeah.
Do you ever? I mean, I may have just caught it because I ran it by the fish's mouth and they happened to bite it. How, like, are they more often or not gonna go for live bait versus artificial bait? I guess lures. I guess
flathead will. Flathead, you can catch flathead on bass lures.
Okay.
Yeah, that they'll nail that. Like, especially some of these big swim baits.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I have some big 10-inch swim baits that I use out at Saguaro Lake when I decide I want to go wash my lures off because there's no fish in that lake. Game and Fish says otherwise, but I don't believe them. But there's times I've been out there running that, trying to go for, a big bass, and out of nowhere, boom, flathead hits it. So, yeah, they'll hit that. They'll hit spinners. They'll do that. They will do that. Channel cat will do it too, especially larger channel cat, because when a channel cat's a very interesting creature. And if I had to say, what would my second favorite fish be to catch? It'd be a channel cat. Because channel cat, when they're young, they're kind of dumb, so they'll eat anything. But there's a point in time with a channel cat, after they get about 5, 6, 7 pounds, and they've lived a year or two, something happens to them, and they get real picky, and they start to act more like your blue cats and your flathead, where they prefer the live stuff, but they'll still scavenge. So yeah, they'll nail a lure. Then they'll definitely do it.
So one of the viewers here, Junkyard Gardener, the one that's been asking us a lot of questions here. Ty, I'm at my house, buddy, and I'm talking to my buddy Jim. He's got the American Defender YouTube channel. We're talking about fishing. But he says Defender, mentioning his heavy current. I know he has the free line, no weight strategy. If he's ever looking for weights, I use Cat Max, no roll, flat sided. Also, spider weights for surf fishing.
Yeah, I have some of those. Those are very good weights. I have some of those. I've tried them. They kind of work because there's section of the canals that I fish in where the water's like it's moving. It's white water on the top, and the current underneath could be doing 20, 25, 30 miles an hour. I mean, it's moving. So I've tried those, and I've watched one of those like 2-3 ounce weights like that, like the Cat Max weights, sit there in the current, like almost like a surfboard, and just sit there and bounce up and down. Because once the current catches it, it's lifted. It's just really violent water that I'm fishing in at times. But there's other times where I'm fishing in those canals where it's like dead quiet. And at that point in time, yeah, that's when those weights come out. Especially if I'm using a big cart or something like that, those weights come out. As a matter of fact, I'll tell you something that I've done, and a lot of people that see me do it that don't know about catfishing, they go, "What the hell are you doing?" I'll use a brick. Like I will straight up like you're shark fishing. I will tie a brick to some like 15-pound test, tie that onto my line, and drop it straight down in there. That way I know that bait ain't moving. It's staying right where I want it, right in the hot spot. And then when the catfish hits it, I tie such a cruddy knot on it that when I go to set the hook or the fish goes to move, it just breaks.
So you're gonna make so the way you rig it is you have another piece of line tied off to a brick instead of like a catfish weight, and then that when you do it, it's gonna break that brick off, and you're still gonna have the fish on the line.
Yeah, it's called a three-way. It's called a three-way rig. So like what you'll have is your main line come into a three-way swivel. All right. And the three-way swivel looks kind of like a peace sign. You got your three legs coming off of it. One side of it will be my hook and bait and everything. And then the other side of it will be where that brick is, or half a brick, or big old weight, And that way, when I go to set the hook, I'm still connected with that three-way swivel on the one side. The other side, the weight, I just drop the weight, which it's helpful too, because when you start using these big weights and you've got a 40, 50, 60, 70-pound flathead on there, that weight's not whipping around in the water, beating the crap out of the fish and tangling the fish up and hurting the fish. So, it's just what I use.
Hey, Mike, you're good. You're good. You said that's what you use? Yeah.
Yeah, it's okay. Yeah. Yeah, that's just how I go about doing it. And then, like I was telling you the other day, another thing that I've learned and I've picked up on is the use of glow sticks.
Right. Okay.
So up above my bluegill or hot dog or whatever it is I'm using, I will slide a glow stick. I will take the little tubes, like the little package of the glow sticks you get, like the fishing sections, fishing shop stuff. Like the bait shop I go to, I got to do a big shout out for them. Liar's Corner here in Mesa, Arizona, the last real bait shop in Arizona. They sell these glow sticks that are about 4 inches long. They're the little mini ones, but they're kind of skinny and long. And they've got these little vinyl tubes that come with them. And so what I'll do is, before I tie the hook on, I'll slide that vinyl tube on the line, tie my Palomar knot or my knotless knot, onto my hook, get that all executed, and then I'll take a glow stick and I'll slide it into that tube up about, 5, 6, 8 inches above that. And, of course, crack it and get it glowing, put my bait on, throw it out. And I've noticed that I'm getting exponentially more catfish to hit, whether it's channel cat, flathead, whatever, because there's something about that glow stick that's attracting them. I don't know if it's a visual thing or what, but it attracts them. Like I remember we were talking here a few days ago about me going out at 1 o'clock in the morning at the park and fishing for channel cat.
Mm-hmm.
And that night I caught 35 channel cat, but I had 2 different poles out, same bait, same line, same hook, same hot dogs, all of that. And I was fishing in the same basic area. 5 of those 35 were caught on the pole that had no glow stick on it. The other 30 were caught on the pole with the glow stick. And the baits were only spaced about 3 feet apart. So there was something that told me there was something to this glow stick underwater thing. So like I was saying before, I suggested you try that with bass if you were ever to try to live bait for bass.
So have you ever done you take the corn and you make your own thing, but you put like strawberry or Jello flavoring chicken liver soaked in strawberry or whatever? Yeah,
the panko baits and stuff. Yeah, I've tried I've tried the panko bait, like what's his name, Luke over there at Catfish and Carp. I've tried his panko bait mix that he does here in Arizona for carp because I like to fish for carp too. And really, in all honesty, what I found, even using a method feeder here, the carp don't want anything to do with it.
Yeah.
What I use is something that was passed down to me from my dad, from back when my dad was a little boy growing up in Illinois. Because he was from, he grew up in the Decatur and Mattoon area of Illinois back in the late 1940s, early 1950s. And he would use, and I've told you about this before, Wheatie balls. And you literally just get you a box of Wheaties.
Right.
You get you a bowl. You put you a little water in it. And put some Wheaties in there. And every now and again, what we'll do is we'll add a little bit of garlic powder and a little bit of cinnamon. And we put the Wheaties in there, and you just start crunching them up in there. Right? You don't use very much water. It's like, I don't know, maybe 1/8 of a cup of water. But you just start crunching them up until you got this like gelatinous, sticky ball of bran. Put that in a baggie, and then we'll go out and pinch a little bit off of that ball, mold it up around that hook, and then throw it out. Carp love that. Also, channel cat love that. I have caught so many channel cat off of Wheatie balls that it's ridiculous. So that's, I've done that. I've done the panko baits and all of that. Like we were saying before, though, different areas, different things work at different times.
So Junkyard Gardener said we used Raisin Bran and Big Red Soda.
Yep, that's another one that I've heard of. That the Kool-Aid chicken, I'm sure we've all heard about.
Yeah. That's kind of what I was asking about, was the Kool-Aid chicken, I guess.
Yep.
Yeah.
Kool-Aid chicken doesn't work for crap in Arizona. Huh. That is my official analysis. It does not work because Jen and I have tried it a bunch of different times. The chicken breast, it just doesn't work. Now, chicken liver is a different story. You don't need to add Kool-Aid to it, though. Just
straight chicken liver. Yeah.
Yeah, just use your straight chicken liver.
Well, it smells like blood, so I guess it would work fine.
Yeah.
So I don't even know what kind of catfish I've caught. I caught a little tiny catfish, and I've got a reel of it, when I was fishing at the Jackson, Washington State Forest, and it was like a gray color, like gray and white. So I guess it'd be a channel. Huh?
Yeah, that sounds like a channel. Or, now if I could look at the tail fin of it, you might have even caught a juvenile blue cat, because you guys do have blue cats up there in Indiana.
Well, I don't know what they stock this pond with either.
So okay, well, if it was a pond, it was probably channel cat.
But the one I caught at the creek down here, it could have been a flathead, but it was more of a greenish brown color, but it was in a muddy creek too, and a lot bigger than this.
Well, channel cat can be that kind of green, muddy brown color, but there's another catfish that we haven't mentioned here that it could very possibly be, and that's the smaller of the catfish available here in America, and that's the bullhead.
Bullhead catfish. Okay.
There's a black bullhead and a yellow bullhead, and a lot of people call them mud cats, and they've got all sorts of different names for them throughout the country. But they typically get about, like, a big one would be like 12 inches. But they are scavengers. But I think out of all of the catfish there are, bullhead have to be some of the most aggressive catfish that there are. I mean, they are mean. Okay, if there was ever a mean catfish, it's the bullhead. Bullhead also, for those listening, and for Daniel here, are also a very, very good flathead bait. So keep that into mind when you're out there hunting for Mr. Whiskers.
All right. So out of all four of the types of catfish you just mentioned, channel, blue, What's the other
Flathead.
one? Flathead and the bull. What tastes the best?
That's really a matter of preference. Personally, myself, to me, it's really a tie between channel cat or flathead.
Now, are you catch and release, or do you actually keep some of them and eat them?
Every now and again, I will keep some. Very rarely, maybe once a year, I'll keep like 3 or 4.
And there's no size limit, is there, in Arizona?
It depends on the waters.
Yeah.
It depends on the waters. I mean, personally, myself, like with a channel cat, if I'm going to keep channel cat, which is usually what I keep is channel cat, I very, very rarely ever keep a flathead because I want to keep that population, growing here in Arizona.
Right.
But we got enough channel cat that you could throw a rock and hit a channel cat. I typically, if I'm going to keep a channel cat, I want it to be at least at a bare minimum 3 pounds, but at a maximum, no more than 8. Because after they get about, 8 pounds or so, they change. Something about them changes. The meat changes in them a little bit. At least that's what I found. So really the sweet spot for me is between 5 and 7 pounds.
So I heard about a mud vein. Do all catfish have a mud vein that you got to watch out for or something?
No.
Or no?
Carp are the ones that have mud veins.
Then what am I thinking of with catfish? Maybe not.
Catfish don't have a mud vein.
Or maybe it's carp. Okay.
No, carp have a mud vein.
Okay. I don't catfish very often, so I'm soaking this information up. But I did learn something on a bass fishing show. This girl was fishing, and she was talking about fishing with hot dogs, but she brings twine with her and ties her bait on the hook so the hot dog doesn't come off.
Yeah, some people do that. I have a video on my channel on how to hook a hot dog the right way.
Yeah.
And not have to tie it. I should probably do a video too later this year on how to hook chicken liver to your hook without having to use pantyhose or any of that.
Yeah.
Because I've figured that out. I grew up, when my dad first took me fishing, I can remember I was like 3.5, 4 years old. For some reason, I have this like outstanding memory from when I was a kid. But if you asked me what I did 10 minutes earlier, I couldn't tell you. But the very first fish I went after as a kid was a catfish. It wasn't bluegill. Bluegill came later. So I've always fished for catfish, and the very first bait I ever used was chicken liver. And so what I've learned with chicken liver is usually when you're pulling chicken liver out of the tub, first off, don't use frozen chicken liver because it tears way easier. But you'll notice that on chicken liver, there's like a tendon or some fat, or there's like this really tough material that'll bind the chicken livers together.
Yeah.
What I like to do is I like to hook on the chicken liver, kind of hook through the liver a couple times. Then I take that tendon piece, that's a bile duct or something like that, and I start wrapping it like thread around the hook. And then I lop on another piece of the liver, and then I wrap that around. I do that a couple times, or as much as I'm able to do, and basically the liver will stay on there. Now, the secret is to when you're going to put it out into the water, a lot of guys I've seen that I've taken catfishing that have gone from bass fishing to catfishing, they wing it real hard to get it way out there.
Yeah.
The trick is to let the momentum of the rod do the work for you. Don't swing it real hard. Let the weight of the bait on the end of the line and the momentum at the tip of the rod do the work for you. And then your hot dogs and your liver and all of that kind of stuff will stay on the hook. You don't have to tie it off. You don't have to use the pantyhose. You don't have to use the twine, the string, the dental floss. You don't have to do that. And that also gives you a more natural presentation and it'll increase your hookup ratio, because catfish, those barbs that coming off the side of their face, they use those to feel things, and they can feel like the smallest imperfections and stuff with that. And so some fish out there that have been previously caught, there's been studies that show that if they get caught with like a bait that had dental floss on it, they'll remember that feeling. And so when you go out and you toss your bait out there and you've got your dental floss or whatever on there, there are some catfish that can feel that. They can feel that roughness that the dental floss or the surgical floss or, what have you, they remember that. So if you put just a piece of hot dog on there and nothing else, it can increase potentially the hookup ratio because all they're feeling is something that is natural and there's not a synthetic fiber there. It's a theory. It's something they discovered, but it's also a theory. And there's all sorts of stuff you can get wrapped up into in fishing, but that's something that I do. I've just always done it mostly because I never have the dental floss and, it's just how I was taught. It's how I do it.
So
it's just,
let's talk beginner catfishing gear. If I was going to go to the store, I was going to buy a rod and reel combo. I was going to buy either braid or whatever kind of fishing line and bait. Let's start there and let's go. I'm going to go catfishing tonight down at the river, and I don't have anything. What are you going to recommend me to get? Let's go there.
Well, let me ask you, what species of catfish are you going to target?
Probably channel cat.
Okay. Go buy one of for a beginner out there, the easiest, and I have one of these and I love the thing. Go get one of these Zebco 888 or 808 combos.
Okay.
It'll come pre-strung with, I think, 20 or 25 pound test, which is perfect. Get you some split shot weights, 1/4 ounce or so, a package of hot dogs. And then my preferred hook in this particular situation is the Gamakatsu size 2 trailer hook because they have a really large eyelet on them.
Yeah.
And when you're out in the middle of the night and you're trying to hook up a piece of tackle and terminate it, having that big eyelet on there really helps. Okay, and the catfish seem to like it too. But that's basically it. Get you some hot dogs, get you some weight, get you some hooks, a Zebco 808. I mean, it's not real involved fishing. You're going to want yourself a good pair of...
Hey, Scott, how you doing? A good pair of what?
Hook removers.
Okay. Pliers. Hook removers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just get you some pliers because, if you get a big catfish and he swallows it, you're going to want to stick your finger down in his mouth. And, the first time you stick your finger down in a channel cat's mouth and he bites down on you, you'll remember, I don't want to do that again. That's basic. It's real basic, easy fishing. Your tackle box for catfishing like that, just one of these little itty bitty basic tackle boxes that you can basically fit in your pocket. It's all you need. It's super simplistic fishing, man.
Okay, so I've seen teardrop style weights, so like 1 or 2 pound lead weights you can get for catfish, and I've seen triangle weights. I've seen just basic circle lead weights that have a number 1 on them. Like what?
Mm-hmm.
Like
they're all for different types of bottom fishing.
Mm-hmm.
So like what I call the pancake weight, which is just like a basic, real flat circular weight, like the one you were saying that had a 1. Of course, the 1 means it's a 1 ounce weight.
Right.
Those are all different types of like no roll weights, so the weight won't roll or lift. Okay. The triangular ones are another type. They'll fit through different areas a little easier. Then you have your classic weights. There's a lot of personal preference and a lot of also what the bottom structure of the waters you're fishing in. They really are the thing that will, tell you which weight to use is the bottom structure. So most of the time when I'm fishing, what I like to use, and I forget what they're called, I will use these really long skinny weights, and you put them in you can make them yourself. I'm trying to remember what they're called. But they're just a really long skinny weight, and they're
like
usually
a cylinder weight?
Well, they usually make them out of shrink tubing.
Oh, okay.
I cannot for the life of me right now because my mind right now is still on guns. But because it's still that season for me.
So, but Scott from Escaping the Suburb goes, you guys ever seen that girl, Hannah Barron, who dives and catches those catfish with swallowing her arm? It's called noodling.
Yep.
And I will never do it because it can be very, very, very dangerous. You got to know what you're doing. And some states have actually made noodling illegal.
Yep, it's illegal here in Arizona.
Yeah, I've never done it in Arizona, but she is awesome at fishing. Her dad is really good at it too, and yeah, she can do that all day long. Go down there sticking her. I catch catfish by accident. Yeah, that's it. Noodling, he said. I catch catfish by accident. Jimmy here is the catfisher. I like catching bass and bluegill and all kinds of stuff like that. But so I'm just learning about catfishing, and that's what this live stream's turned into. We got 15 more minutes till I'm probably gonna shut it down. It's been a very long day for me, and then I'll hang out till the Escaping the Suburbs with Scott live stream starts at 8 p.m. So you guys, make sure you guys go check that out later. We'll have a good time over there too. But biggest catfish you ever caught, or catfishing stories that you like to tell?
Biggest catfish I caught was back, oh God, it's been a long time ago now. It was a 61-pound flathead. I caught it out of the SRP canal. I'll even tell you where I caught it because, it was just by chance that I even caught the thing. If you're familiar with Mesa, Arizona, I caught it off of Lindsay and Baseline. Right there in the middle of the city. And I was using bluegill, and I caught it at night, and it was a heck of a fight. I landed him. Actually, it was a her. It was a big female. And popped the hook. This is back before camera phones were a thing. And put it back in the water. Big, beautiful flathead. To me, there isn't a fish out there that is prettier than a big old flathead with that camouflage pattern they have on. They are like the perfect predator. Absolutely the perfect predator. They blend into their environment, and nothing really, can defeat them because they're the apex. They're the king of the water.
So somebody asked this, and I think it was. I'm gonna scroll back down through here. Hi CL, how you doing? Have either of you fished in any other states? I have. So I fished New Hampshire. I fished Iowa on the Des Moines River, 4th of July. Fireworks are going over the trees. I personally didn't catch anything, but my uncle caught a sturgeon. I fished here in Indiana and Tennessee. And I don't remember. I was like 9 years old when I fished Tennessee. What about you, Jimmy? Have you fished any other states than Arizona?
I fished in California, off of out there in Oceanside, doing some saltwater fishing. I fished in Beaufort, South Carolina, also ocean fishing. Decatur, Illinois. I don't remember what body of water it was we were fishing in. I was just a little kid. This is back around late 1980s. But we were catfishing out there. Where else have I fished? Other states that I have fished. Oregon. I've fished in Salem, Oregon for salmon and for trout. My mom's side of the family was from the Portland, Salem, Oregon area. So I fished up there quite a bit when I was a little kid. I'm trying to think of anywhere else that I might have fished. I think I may have fished in Oklahoma a time or two as a little kid. I just don't really remember. I remember there's a couple fishing trips in my mind, but I can't remember if it was Oklahoma that we were in or if it was Tennessee. I can't remember which one it was because I was so young. But yeah, I fished in some other places.
So Scott says he'll take us deep sea fishing. He lives in Florida. Mike's Adventure Spark says his favorite lake is in Nebraska. It's called Mac or Lake McConnery, I think is what that's called, or McConney, something like that. So here in Indiana, 3 out of my 4 biggest bass have came out of Shakamak State Park. And I fished Spring Mill State Park. And Spring Mill State Park, they put grass carp in there. The carp is huge.
Yeah, they
Someone
are.
says close enough. Yeah, I'm hooked on phonics, guys. Project of the 90s here. The reason I like bass fishing so much, we got 9 minutes left to talk about bass fishing here. Because for me, I didn't really grow up fishing. I started really fishing about 2019 when I caught those fish, but I was out there trying to catch. Someone said, me too, Scott, I'm on the Texas coast, Galveston. That's where Texas Gardner is. So, Junkyard Gardner. Junkyard, I've got family in Corpus Christi, Texas. Whataburger
for the win.
Whataburger for the win.
I had to. Sorry, you mentioned Texas.
You're good. Hey, college football, IU plays in the Rose Bowl tomorrow. And hopefully Indiana University wins. But it was one of those things where I'd start watching YouTubers and just trying to go catch fish. And I had this whole box of bass fishing lures that I had from my grandpa. But I didn't know what any of it was for. Because everything was handed down to me. So, my man, Whataburger, indeed, Junkyard says. So, Mike says, I've been the Corpus Christi, been trying to get back down there. Love fishing off the beach and being able to camp right there. We have a Whataburger here in the Florida Panhandle, CL says. Indiana's getting their first Whataburger next year. So, According to American Defender, I have to drive 2 hours and go try Whataburger.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Once you try a Whataburger, everything else is just junk.
Yeah.
It's the best burger that will ever grace your lips. And you got to try the fries, and you got to put gravy on the fries.
You know what we got in my town, just got it last year, was a Culver's, man, and it's pretty good. It's expensive, but Culver's is really good.
Yeah, Whataburger kicks the crap out of Culver's.
Probably, but I can't compete with that because I don't have one to try yet. Someone says facts.
Yeah, Whataburger is king.
Hey, and like I said, I would have tried Whataburger if in February I was able to crash at your house for that convention, but we know you ain't got the room and driving 25 hours for, it says love their onion rings and gravy.
Oh, yeah.
So we got a lot of people here. We can just talk about Whataburger for the next, I don't care how long it is, but Whataburger was a Texas franchise. We were bought out by a company in Chicago and now is going nationwide eventually. Well, that would make sense why Indiana's getting one if they were bought out by a company in Chicago. So you said they're big burgers, right?
They're huge. Yeah.
Do they have big fries like Five Guys or what?
Well, they're not as big as Fry Guys, but I wish you could see it because I actually just went to Whataburger. Their large fry is literally a big square cup.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Yeah, it's about, 3-4 inches tall, about 3-4 inches wide.
CL was telling me they have a junior burger, too.
They do have a junior burger. Yeah, it's like diameter-wise, I would put it equal to... Then this is their junior burger to like the Burger King, Big King burger.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know? like your regular like cheeseburger style size.
Holy cow! We started talking about Whataburger, and everybody starts giving us the thumbs up. We need to quit talking about outdoor stuff and just talk about fast food chains.
Hell yeah! Woohoo! But yeah, my favorite one that they have. Like if I was going to suggest to anybody a burger from Whataburger, there's a couple that I would suggest. One is kind of seasonal for them, and one's on the menu all the time. My go-to is the combo number 2, which is the double meat Whataburger. Add cheese, add ketchup, large fry, add chicken gravy. And the gravy is just that white country gravy. Forget ketchup. Gravy is the new ketchup. All right. Dude, that right there, that is comfort food. That is your full all day long. One of those, large size, I don't care who you are, you're full all day long. And they're not super expensive. That's the other great thing about them. And you're getting real Texas beef, baby. None of that soy protein 3D printed garbage you get from McDonald's or those other wannabe burger shops.
Someone says sounds like poutine. Yum. I don't know what poutine is. Poutine.
Poutine. It's a Canadian thing. It's in Canada they do a thing called poutine that's fries, gravy, and cheese. Oh. So yeah, it's similar to that. We'll call it redneck poutine.
There you go. All right.
You know.
Do you know what my favorite French fries are of all time?
The ones in front of your face?
Arby's curly fries.
Yeah. I can forgive you.
Dude, every time she gets Arby's, I get a classic roast beef sandwich with cheese, and then I get 2 things of curly fries, and I can eat the crap out of some curly fries. You know, we need to start another live stream called The Fat Guy and the Skinny Guy, and we just talk about
food. Yeah, my name's American Defender, and this is how I got to 353 pounds.
Diabetes. There's an ongoing joke between us. We just need to do one where we just talk about random stuff. But we'll answer the phone like Little Debbie's tasting service or Little Debbie's this, because we both love Little Debbie's. Well, for me, it's all right, CL. Yeah, see you in a few minutes. See you later. But we'll... What was I going with this? We always like go diabetes, and we do the Wilford Brimley thing. Get your diabetes testing supplies.
Diabetes.
Now,
gotta have the diabetes. This is Wilford Brimley, and I'm here to give you diabetes.
Oh, Lord.
Real quick, since we were talking about fishing, not to change subjects, but I just got to put this out there. And it's an interesting fact that it usually will make bass fishers angry that don't know. And I've told you this before. You actually know this. Largemouth bass and smallmouth bass are not true bass. They're actually a sunfish.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people don't know that, and I just want to throw that in there.
I'm going to learn, people. I just got this from In Fisherman called Largemouth Bass. Guaranteed to keep you 2 steps ahead of the crowd. It says an In Fisherman Handbook of Strategies. So it goes through everything like about how to fish different structures and all kinds of how to like all different kinds of different lures and how to use the lures and rig them and stuff. And I plan on doing a video kind of like Granny Southern Corner does, where she goes through and she'll read a chapter. And I'm going to get all up scientific about some largemouth bass and really learn this year because I like YouTube. I like things, but sometimes having a hard copy of a book in your hand isn't a bad thing, and you should never quit learning. But someone said true. Pretty book cover. Thank you, CL. Pearlman's here. Hi, Pearlman. But yeah, we'll talk for 10 more minutes. How about that? I'm feeling good. We were just having a great time.
I'm cool with that. You know, I can do that.
Yeah. So, the one thing I wanted to tell you, Jimmy, is the fact that I heard your wife has a birthday coming up soon.
Yep.
And your birthday was in November?
Yep.
So, next week, I am mailing out this package that is sitting in front of me for both of your guys' birthdays.
Oh,
But I'm
come on,
not
Daniel.
telling
You
you
don't have
what's
to do
in
that.
here. I'm not telling you what's in here, but I will say there are 2 handmade birthday cards that we made for you guys.
Well, we appreciate it. Thank you very much, sir.
You're welcome. But I think y'all are really gonna like this stuff, and that's all I'm saying. So,
Are they Whataburgers?
uh, do you know the scientific name for the channel catfish?
Nah, I'm not. I don't geek out on them that much. I just catch them and eat them or throw them back.
I have it right here. Lalornis. I can't even read it on my blanket. But my blanket, my fishing blanket, has Sport Fish of North America, and I got this for Valentine's Day last year from my fiance, and it has all the fish, trout and gar and brook trout and bluegill, largemouth bass, all kinds of stuff on here, and I use it as a background for my live streams and stuff. But it looks like Laloris per something. I can't read. It's also a fleece blanket, so it's really hard to read the lettering sometimes.
Yeah, it's Latin.
Yeah, and I'm not singing that Christmas song, Deo Chelsea. But no, I love this blanket. It's pretty cool. But yeah.
Yeah, gar. Now, I don't know about you, Daniel, but I have always been interested in coming on down to Texas and hooking up on a big old alligator gar. That to me seems like an absolute riot of a time.
Hey, so over on Escaping the Suburbs YouTube channel, Miss Lori's Soul Circle is going to be the guest on his stream tonight. So it looks like we're all just hanging out, having our friends over for a New Year's Eve party here. We call him Flathead, Opalasis, or Yellow Cat, aka Yellow Cat.
Yep, Yellow Cats.
Yellow Cat. That's what they call the channel cat? Is the Yellow Cat? Is that what he's saying?
Flathead.
Flathead. Oh, okay.
It's flatheads. They also call them shovel heads. There's a lot of different names for them. A lot of people in the South call them shovel heads, yellow cats, yellow cats. I just call them flathead.
There's even saltwater catfish. We didn't talk about this. And especially down south where the estuaries, where the saltwater meets the freshwater, is that a thing? Can they can't go in both, right? A saltwater catfish can't be in freshwater.
Well, it could be in brackish water.
Okay, and that's so can sharks. You got to be careful. You guys don't know this, but I love sharks. That's why I have. We're gonna do this in DG Outdoors channel live stream fashion. I was trying not to get up and show this off, but he's got little flip flops somewhere. Oh, they're right here. But this is Sharky. It's my Shark Week lifeguard from Build-A-Bear. I like sharks, and I have all the Shark Week DVDs over there that came out from like 2011 or whatever. What's up?
We should converge on Texas. You and I both meet up sometime in Texas and do a joint video where we shark fish.
Dude, you didn't even want to meet me to go to Illinois to go to the free catfish convention.
I don't want to go to Illinois. That's like going to California to me.
I did. You know what, Scott? I tried not to get up and do a show and tell today, but I couldn't help it. We were talking about Shark Week and sharks, and it's an actual Shark Week thing. And it's Sharky, and I love him. And I made him at Build-A-Bear, so I'm okay with it.
We should do that. We should meet up sometime in the future in Texas. I've got shark gear here. I'll just bring the gear, and we could do some pier fishing for sharks. We could go bull shark fishing.
Dude, I would love to go to Florida and catch tilapia, because you don't even need a fishing license to catch tilapia, right? Because they're like an invasive species, and they're like a huge, or Mayan cichlid. Mayan cichlid is another one that I learned from I shark fish in GA on vacation sometimes. I got an 8-foot lemon and a couple of years back. That was Pearlman. That's pretty cool, man. I'd be afraid to get bit though, dude. Like I would love it, but I like watching sharks and learning about sharks, especially Shark Week in July. I got my Shark Week shirt and I watch all the DVDs, and now I've got HBO Max, so I can watch all the other ones. So Air Jaws was one of my favorite shark episodes. I don't even know how this turned into a whole shark thing, but sharks would be cool.
I would love to do some shark fishing. When I went to California, the couple times I've done it, right there off of what was that beach? Do you remember the name of the beach we were on, Jen? All the California people out there listening that know about this beach in Oceanside. It's got a Ruby Tuesdays at the end of the pier. Mission Beach, I think it is. Either way, I was at the end of the pier there, and I was fishing just for whatever, really. But I hooked into a bunch of sand sharks. And that was fun. That was absolutely fun. And I remember I pulled one up. It wasn't very big, but it was big enough. And I remember some Asian guy ran up to me and said, can I have that shark? And I said, nope. And I threw it right back over. Because I knew what he was going to do. He was going to cut the fins off. Yeah, he was going to cut the fins off the shark and let the rest of it go to waste.
Dude, that's one thing, like, talk about fish conservation. Shark fin soup is huge in Asian delicacy, and it's a big thing killing off our sharks because, and this is an Indiana boy talking about things that I've learned from Gordon Ramsay or people like that, and I've got some family in Florida. I forgot about that till now, so I might have to hit up my family and we'll all go down and go shark fishing. But they just cut the fins off and throw the fish back in the water.
Yep.
And then you have this soup that is super expensive, and it's like an Asian delicacy. But
yeah, he was kind of ticked off at me, but I didn't care.
Yeah, I mean, I totally get it. So someone says CL said they're preparing to replace the Pensacola Beach Pier. Escaping the Suburbs said, I remember that pier, that he lived in Pensacola, and that it's got hit from too many hurricanes. And then Perlman said that he fished off the pier at the beach at Jekyll Island, Georgia. Someone said that's wasteful, very cruel. I've heard a lot
about Jekyll Island.
It is. Like, I'm a catch and release fisherman, and people wonder why. Like, my dad's like, that 5.5 pound bass I caught would have been good eating. Well, the situation at the time, I didn't have a cooler and all that stuff. I just, I put it back, whatever. But, like, I've had bad experiences filleting fish. Number one, I didn't know what I was doing. I froze the fish because I had to go do something. I was like 16 years old. And so it's like ever since then, I just catch and release. Now, if I know somebody that needs some fish to eat, and I'm like, here you go. I've gave away catfish before because I knew someone would eat it. Because I caught a catfish at the bridge by my mom and dad's house, and it was like a 20-foot drop all the way back to the water, and I wasn't going to drop it back in there. I didn't think before I, but yeah, so shark fishing would be cool. I want to go like either shark. Is it marlin where they or tuna? Dude. Is it tuna or marlin when they have the big flag up in the air and the fish come up and get it and you can see the flag go underneath the water?
Dude, I think that's marlin fishing. I would absolutely love. That is like my bucket list thing. Go to Florida, get on a boat, get out in the ocean, blue marlin fishing. That is before I die, I want to do it one time. Strap me into a chair and hook me onto a marlin.
Junkyard said Defender mentioned Texas gar fishing. Trinity River holds state records. I can gar fish here in Indiana too. I live right by Salt Creek and I've seen gar in there. I don't know what I'd do if I caught one because I want to try bow fishing at some time too. We have a problem with people hooking birds and improperly cutting their lines. So CL had asked me on the last live stream about fishing, have I ever caught a bird? And I'm like, not on purpose, and I've never tried to. The one thing we got to watch for out here is Canadian geese. and they are very territorial. They will chase you down and try to bite you and spit at you and all kinds of stuff. It says, Junkyard said, my bucket list is giant halibut in Alaska.
Oh, yeah. That's another one.
Yeah.
That's another one. Yeah, that's something else we need to do too there, Daniel, is go.
Dude, I watched someone go fishing for Goliath groupers.
Oh, now you're talking my language.
They were by this huge oil refinery on these pillars that go way down in the water, catching these huge groupers. I like if you guys want to check out a really cool YouTube channel, it's called First State Fishing. And First State Fishing, he lives in Florida now, and he does a lot of deep, like off the piers, and you can catch like, one thing if you ever come to Florida, I'll set you up with a guy to get you a marlin or a swordfish. That'd be pretty cool.
Heck yeah, it would.
Did you guys know? I watched this girl on Facebook fillet a what are those things called? The thing that kill a stingray, right? Some kind of stingray, and imitation. And I love scallops, but imitation scallops 90%. You probably will have stingray meat if you didn't know that they make imitation scallops out of stingray meat.
They also make them out of swordfish.
So maybe I've had them at the Chinese restaurant and didn't know.
Maybe. Probably had a lot of stuff at the Chinese restaurant you didn't know.
I'm a picky eater, but I didn't notice a decline in the cat population or anything, so we're good. And I've got to be careful because the last thing I want to hear is an FU get dropped by my fiance, who is 100% Chinese, so, you know.
Or have a projectile thrown at you.
She goes, or throw something at you, so.
She knows we love her and we're only kidding.
I do love you. But what I said was true about this stingray meat is what they use to make imitation scallops with.
Yeah.
Well, guys, it's been about an hour, and like it says, I'm going to be in Daytona in August, but I never catch anything there. You got to get out of the city, bro. He's giving you a hard time. Daytona's a big city. No, go watch you some there. May will go on the warpath. That's what Escaping the Suburbs said, Carissa. Scott said that you'll be on the warpath.
Might be good for her every now and again. Who knows?
Yeah, if I don't get slapped every now and then. Great live stream. Yeah. Thanks, guys. Well, I'm going to jump off of here, get ready to be at Scott's live stream with Miss Lori's Soul Circle. Yeah, so I've done 2 live streams this week. Well, Jimmy, I'm going to say goodbye to you, sir, and I'm going to end out this live stream. So,
alrighty, brother. Take it easy, and it was good, seeing everybody back and being back on the show, and I look forward to being back in the future.
Right. All right. See you later.
See you later, brother.
Bye. That was fun. This went really fun. I need to do just more fun, cut loose live streams. We tried to stick to the fishing here. It was great just to cut loose and see how we actually interact with each other. Like, I talk to him almost every single day for hours on end sometimes because we just get lost in conversation. And that's why I call it Friends of DG live stream. If you guys want to be on one, hit me up. Dang, man. That would suck. So did you lose your money because of that, or did they give you a refund if you don't catch anything? So is it a promise to catch charter? How does that work? Right? Are you guaranteed to catch a fish? I guess is how I'm asking. DG, you be a bass guy. Peacock bass in Florida. Peacock bass in Florida are beautiful. And I heard they're aggressive. One thing I'd really like to catch, and this ain't a bass, is like a snakehead, I think, with they got the eye on their tail, and they're like big up in Maryland and things like that. It's like a big snakehead. Yeah. So we just had fun. I learned a lot about catfishing tonight. I don't normally catfish. I catch them by accident. I just like bass because I've, grew up watching Bassmaster or things on TV, or, you watch Bill Dance and Roland Martin and Jimmy Houston. Growing up, I remember I had a video game, Jimmy Houston's Fishing 1997. Fun times on the old Windows 98. But yeah, I'm going to get off here. I'm going to get ready. I'm not going to tell you guys what I got American Defender and his wife because I don't want to ruin it. But as soon as I know he delivers the package, I'll let you guys know. But it's going to be fun. A big Roland Martin restaurant here. That'd be cool. I cut my teeth bass fishing. I love it. Dude. Yeah, and I've caught 4 decent bass in my lifetime so far. But that's the thing about my New Year's resolution. I've literally contemplated. I love hunting. I really do. But I'm really starting to get into fishing more. And starting fishing. And learning. And I seem to have a lot better luck at fishing. This channel may transition into more of a fishing channel. I've got a whole bunch of lures I need to test in the bathtub. Can't believe Allie missed this one. She's super busy down there, man, slaying them big old bass in Florida and trying not to get bit by alligators and water snakes and stuff like that. I'm waiting till it's going to be 61 degrees in April to start fishing here. And I am going to do that how to fish with live bait video for you. Scott, I hadn't forgot. So, yeah. I'm going to transition. We're going to be transitioning into fishing, doing a lot of lure testing. I'm not going to buy a bunch of new lures. I've got lures in my tackle box that I can show off and show you guys the action in the bathtub and stuff like that, called DG's Lure Testing. And basically, that's where I review a lure, and then I fill the bathtub up with water, and I go test the action in the bathtub. Because you can't do really a fishing lure review without testing the action. So that's my test lab, is the bathroom. But y'all remember, like, comment, subscribe. Remember, Jesus loves you. Remember to push. Pray until something happens. And check out my hat. Boom. Got the bass from the Bassmasters, because I need to renew my membership in April. But that's all right, y'all. So, y'all remember to push, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Thanks for watching.